So by now in It Welcome to Derry, you've seen the sewer ambush, the Maddie twist, the black spot setup, and Periwinkle putting on the clown costume. So today we're going to talk through some of the questions that I've been having that have been quietly setting up in this season. And I'm going to give you my best theories on what I believe is going to happen before the last two episodes hit and who actually may make it out of 1962. We know a few, but we don't know all. What Pennywise is really doing in Derry, and how it all connects to the It movies potentially, and the broader Stephen King universe, and maybe even future season. So let's talk some wild King universe theories and stay locked in with me. But before we get into that, let me talk some quick context. That way we kind of quickly catch up. Like I said, we know the kids and a couple of others made it out of the sewers, but not without some trauma. Pennywise has been revealed through the Maddie twist. Periwinkle, we found out, is Ingrid, and that is Pennywise's daughter. And we have the whole thing at the black spot setting up to be a bloody massacre. Dick's shine is wide open. The box is open, and we don't know if it's going to get closed. Will and the other kids are, I guess, trying to make another plan to attack Pennywise, which is probably not a good idea. And Leroy is just trying to keep everything together and figure it all out. And while all of that is going on, the archery, which is going to be a bloody massacre, is basically sitting right on top of everybody. So drop the one question, or more than one question, that you need answered, and let's see if I hit it right here in this video. So let's start with the kids. Who is actually going to make it out of 1962? We know Will is going to make it out of 1962. He's basically Kevlar because he's Mike's father. So his survival is basically guaranteed. Probably not without his scars, if he remembers them, because people forget things in Derry. But Will will definitely make it. Now, the other kids, all of them, they could potentially all become casualties. Ronnie, Rich, Lily, and Marge all stand a chance to bite the dust, and I would not be surprised to see at least two of them bite the dust, and if they do, it would probably be in gory fashion. But all of the kids are not going to make it out of this show. Will, like I said, we know he's Mike's father, so he's definitely going to make it. Rich and Marge and a beautiful love story is brewing. It may be coming to a quick end. And Lily, she's not connected anywhere else in the franchise, so she could be gone. And Ronnie, just like Lily, is not in the franchise either, unless they try to retroactively make Ronnie and Will be together, and that's Mike's mom, which I don't think it is. Ronnie may not make it out of this one well. Ronnie may not even make it out of the black spot with her father, so that's a whole nother story that I have coming up in a minute. The kids are in danger, minus Will, because we know, like I said, he's Mike's father in the It movies. But the other kids, they are in grave danger, and I just don't see most of them making it. I say two, but it could be three. But there's a chance that it could only be Mike that walks out of this, and then he forgets that he has these friends because he lives in Derry and he never leaves. But if you just had to pick one who would make it and one who wouldn't make it, who would it be? So now let's talk about the Periwinkle of everything. What is Pennywise really doing with Periwinkle? And honestly, the answer to that is probably nothing. I think Periwinkle, aka Ingrid, is a willing participant in Pennywise's game. She knows his pattern. She was there when her father was first taken, so she's not dumb to any of this. She's one of the few people that clearly remembers the events that happened over time. I don't believe Pennywise is doing anything. I believe Pennywise is doing Pennywise things, which is scaring kids and causing confusion and chaos within the town and getting ready to cause another massacre. That's really that. I think he's just there to feed. I don't believe that there's any there may be a method to his madness, but if there is a method to his madness, I'm not sure what it is, because it just seemed like he's there to feed. It doesn't seem like him feeding is going to help him escape Derry, because we know how the movies play out. And so unless they're going to retroactively set up something else in the future, I don't believe Ingrid, aka Periwinkle, plays a large role into anything that Pennywise does, other than making it easier for him to feed, because she's basically feeding him the kids. But do you see Periwinkle, aka Ingrid, as more of a cultist like I do? Because that's basically what she is, a cultist. And I say that because I don't believe Pennywise is even trying to control her. I think she's a willing participant into Pennywise's cycle, and because he's her father, and sort of, and he probably won't kill her because, hey, why would I kill somebody who makes it easy for me? That's why we see her at 106 years old in the It 2 movie, It Chapter 2, where she goes berserk. So now I have a more serious thing to get into. How bad do you guys think the black spot is going to get? I guess black spot round 2, because we've already had one massacre there that we haven't seen yet, but we'll see in season 2 in 1935. But how bad do you think this one gets? Do you think there'll be some intervention? I doubt it, because we've seen the clips with the flames and stuff in the background. So this is obviously going to get pretty bad. But how bad is bad? Do we think everybody's going to die type of bad? Is this going to be, maybe like a quick shootout type of situation, and maybe half the people die, half the people don't? Does Pennywise appear and kill everybody? Like, what do you guys think? But anybody who knows the book should expect some fire lynch mob type violence that Pennywise is basically going to sit back and enjoy. The show has been slowly building towards that, and I just really think that we're going to get it. We see in the credits with the joyful music and all that stuff like that, that there's a big fire scene. And we kind of thought that may have been a foreshadowing on 1935, or maybe just a memory from 1935 of something playing out. But now maybe that is actually something that's going to happen in this season. And that's just the credits were just foreshadowing what was coming in the season. But Laura says there are going to be a few survivors that are going to carry some of the trauma. So I would expect the likely outcome to be we'll see some of the black people, maybe Hank survive with some scars, definitely, but maybe we'll see a few people survive to carry on the story of what happened in 1962 version of the Black Spot Massacre. But do you guys think that the show will go all the way and give us like the full bloody torturous Black Spot Massacre, or do you think they'll kind of water it down a little bit? Let me know what you guys really think about that part. So while we're talking about that, the Black Spot, let's talk about Dick a little bit, because the Black Spot is one of his favorite places, obviously. And do we think Dick is going to break, or do you think he's going to become some type of sidekick shield for the town of Derry in this season, or just in general, but maybe for the season? So right now we already know that the open box in his mind is wide open, and he's dealing with some shit, and it's not going very well for Dick. But when we think forward to the Shining movies, mainly the Shining, and I guess we should maybe relate more, well, it doesn't matter until the end of the Shining, but he doesn't seem like a broken person in the Shining movie. So I don't think he's going to leave this very broken. I think he's probably going to leave this learning how to control his mind with the open box, which is probably how he's going to be able to mentor Danny in the future. And I do believe he may potentially become some psychic barrier for the kids if they make it out alive, or maybe for certain members of the town of Derry, or obviously to protect himself, or maybe whoever's around him at the time. Not real sure how that goes down. He's not at the Black Spot, so he can't really protect anybody there. So that's just going to kind of play out how it's going to play out. There's always this chance that he could get overloaded and allow Pennywise to basically walk right through him metaphorically. And, maybe he's the reason that Pennywise comes out and starts killing everybody himself. I doubt that. That's kind of one of those wild theories, but I'm leaning more towards he becomes some type of barrier for definitely himself, but maybe some others who are going to survive. And I doubt he breaks, because he doesn't seem broken in the Shining movies. And the characters are probably closely connected in some type of way. So I believe he probably learns how to control it, which is how he mentors Danny and teaches him how to control the Shine. Because, he told Danny when he left the Shine for his winter break that, send that beacon out if you ever need help. And Danny does at some point, and, he rushes back to the hotel. So that tells me that he's learned how to control the Shine from distances. So do you guys agree with that? And do you think that Dick will master his shine, or do you think for whatever reason he may break? And while we're talking about people breaking, we might as well just go ahead and just ask the question. What is Pennywise's end game for this cycle? Is there a real end game? I kind of touched on it earlier, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But I don't believe there's a real end game. I believe this is just a feeding cycle. That's kind of what all of the feeding cycles have kind of shown to have been for at least him. Now, the people involved deal with emotional trauma, racism, hate, and a bunch of different other things that probably aren't very comfortable to live with or deal with. But Pennywise just seems to enjoy himself and eat and go back to sleep. I just don't see Pennywise being like, I like the way the Hanlon's bloodline tastes or something like that. It doesn't seem like he's, even though these bloodlines are somehow connected in the past that we'll learn in future seasons in 1935 and 1908. But I just don't think he's seeking out bloodline. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that would be just a little bit too far out there. Because in the end, forget Pennywise, think about it. And it is a cosmic being, so it just seems too simple for it to just be like, oh, I just enjoy this specific blood. I only want this. Then like, if everybody in that bloodline dies off, then what the hell are you going to do when 27 years come back? You can't create it again. Now, going back to the black spot, do you guys think this archery is going to be a single event or maybe something that has a chain reaction, maybe in more than one spot? Maybe it starts at the black spot, maybe spreads to the town or maybe spreads to the base. And don't forget, we saw in that trailer shot, and I guess I'm kind of giving part of my answer away, which I may think it may spread further away from the black spot. There was this one trailer shot, and I'll see if I can find it, that had the town being covered in a mist that we have not seen yet. And there are only 2 episodes left, so it's going to happen in one of these episodes. So that would depend on how long, or if the Black Spot Massacre Part 2 happens in this episode, which it seems like it is. I mean, they're right there. Depending on how long that takes, I do believe that that could have a direct impact on whatever that mist or fog is. But I'm going to go with mist because that's more Stephen King, because the fog is somebody else. So I believe that it's going to be directly connected, and that we're going to see this event play out as a chain reaction rather than just taking place in one spot. Because what fun would that be to just have Pennywise just kill everybody in one spot when he has a whole town to go massacre? And sure, he's not going to massacre everybody because then there's going to be nobody left. But if you're going to open a buffet line, you might as well enjoy a little bit of everything. But what do you all think? Do you think this Audrey is going to be this unforgettable massacre, or do you think it's going to stretch into smaller, multiple, we'll call them battles, but just different violent scenes? And with that being said, what does all of this do for future seasons 2 and 3, and maybe even expanding into more of the Stephen King verse that hasn't been touched on yet? And what's canon now? Because we obviously know that the original It movie and the It miniseries isn't canon anymore, because those have been replaced by this TV show and It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. But what about the new Stan TV show that came out, the miniseries that came out a couple of years ago? What about some of those stories that are newer? Do they connect to this? Hopefully not the Dark Tower, and I hope they redo that. But, what about some of the newer things that have came out? Do they connect to this in some type of way, or is there a plan to connect them in some type of way? But as far as future seasons of Welcome to Derry, I don't believe that, no matter how the season ends, I doubt it impacts the future seasons at all, because we're going backwards. If we were going forward into 1989, which is, It Chapter 1, maybe there would be some impact if they were going to turn that movie into a TV show, because then you could just retrofit different things and do it a different way. But obviously they're not doing that. They're going backwards. So no matter how this season ends, in my opinion, it will have no impact on how the future seasons of the show go. The only thing I think we'll get in future seasons of the show is I think we'll get a younger version of Dick. I think we'll probably meet his grandmother because this will be 27 years in the future from this event. So he'll be younger. Maybe get some of the other characters, maybe see a younger version of Ingrid. We probably will get a younger version of Ingrid because we'll probably see her at the hospital. And we'll probably get a few other characters younger, probably the sheriff, the butcher who was Ingrid's husband. We'll probably see a few people younger. Rose, the Indian woman, the native woman, I'll call it native woman, I apologize. And like I said, the sheriff. Well, no, because he wasn't there. He came from somewhere else. So we'll probably see a few characters in a younger form, but I don't expect any major ramifications from this season since they're going back in the past. But with 2 episodes left, those are questions and things that I've been really looking for and that haven't really been answered for me yet. Maybe they've been answered for you. If they have been, let me know in the comments how they have been. That way I can have a little bit more clarity. There's no winning in this scenario. So I just definitely do expect a lot of bodies to pile up. And I think it's going to be a very, very intense and fun and graphic last 2 episodes. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm pretty sure you are too. And let me know what you guys think in the comments about the next 2 episodes and the future seasons and what you guys are expecting and what you guys are looking forward to. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell and stay tuned for more videos and content coming in the future. I appreciate all of you for watching and coming by, and let me know what you guys think about your theories again down in the comments, whether they're wild, whether they're not. Tell me anything. I'll respond, and I will see you next time. Thank you for coming. Bye.